Welcome all to Off the Cuff, and today I have a very talented guy here with me, uh, PC Munoz. He's a recording artist, writer, and program designer based in San Francisco. PC, welcome to Off the Cuff.
Thanks for having me again.
My pleasure. He is the current director of programming for The Freight in Berkeley, a current Mosaic America Fellow, a featured writer in the award-winning Indigenous Literatures from the Micronesia collection from University of Hawai'i Press, and was the 2022 Quinteto Latino Composer-in-Residence. So, PC, we are here to talk about your new album. It's
Yes.
already there on one platform, I
Yes,
think.
it's out on Bandcamp.
Yes, Little Ransoms. It's a spoken word album. Tell us a little bit about Little Ransoms.
Yeah, so Little Ransoms is my first spoken word album in 21 years.
Wow.
So I first
Okay.
put out a record called 20 Haiku, 2005,
Okay.
which was just spoken word with different musicians reacting to the text. It did really well. And, my other work has been kind of a mix of spoken word and song, and sometimes pure instrumentals. So I kind of had left that behind to focus on percussion and
Okay.
production and other things, but this one is very much focused on the words.
On the words, yeah. And I know the first time I heard you say poetry, I was really intrigued because I think there's magic in your voice. There's expression. There's a lot of gravitas. I don't know what there is, but this album, touches your soul, I have to say. And you find something or the other that you can relate to, definitely.
Thank you for that.
But PC, like you're saying, what took you 21 years to get another one out?
Yeah, I think I was experimenting. I was messing around with different song forms.
Okay.
And also a lot of focus on production and percussion. So
Oh.
developing the different drum kits that I use, the slapstick instrument
Yes.
that I play, and a lot of, working in sort of avant-garde and jazz context, just playing drums.
Okay.
And I was kind of fine doing that, but I never stopped writing. And people never stopped commissioning me. Different entities would ask me to do things. And so I kind of had all this backlog of writings, some of which were published, some of which I performed. And I was like, I haven't properly recorded them.
Yeah. Okay. So it came together and, you're happy about it. You
Oh,
were
yeah.
just saying that I'm satisfied with what,
I'm
what
very
you-
pleased with the record and
Yeah.
the reactions so far from people who've heard it.
And it has a very intriguing title, Little Ransoms. How did you...
Excuse me, my mom just asked me about that. And she was like, "Just tell me about the title." I've had that title for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote a piece around it. The piece actually isn't on there that I wrote. But I like the idea of each piece on the album is sort of a little ransom, because I feel like
Oh.
throughout our lives we're paying these little ransoms to continue with our life. I think you can take the connotations positively or negatively, but there's always some kind of little ransom you're paying to continue with the things you'd like to do in life.
Oh, okay. So, do you feel you're a prisoner to certain things in life? And what are you most afraid of in
Oh,
life?
wow. That's a heavy one. I don't know if I use the word prisoner, but I think you're, to get by and to get along in your life, there's always some little bit of yourself that you're giving, and it's not necessarily a negative thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, but I like where you're going with it. You've really pinpointing. There's some sort of little bit of yourself that you have to give up. And again, not necessarily saying positively or negatively. It's just a fact that you're kind of navigating with yourself and how much of yourself you're giving in any kind of interaction or any kind of situation. And that's kind of I like that as sort of a broad theme.
Okay, that's a safe answer, I'll say.
Safe answer.
The dangerous one can come later.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I heard it so many times and, repetitively I've been hearing your album, it's very intimate and it's a personal reflection of your experiences, lived experiences. And
Yeah.
history and especially roots, which is so important to you.
Yes.
What can the listeners find and associate with this in your album? And you are talking to Bolly audience, and obviously it'll be universal, but what's universal about this?
Yeah, I think the sonic approach is already
Okay.
something that you said the word intimate, and I think that's true. There's something about just the spoken voice
Okay.
and one other element, because that's what a lot of the album is, my voice and one instrument. And it really
Yes.
strips it down to an essence where you're forced to listen to the words.
Yes.
There's one piece where there's a full-on music track, bunch of percussion going on, but most of the pieces are a single voice, spoken voice, and a single sung voice,
Very true.
or a flute, or a synthesizer. Sometimes the slapstick. So it draws you in that way. And thematically, I am finding, you mentioned roots. There's a lot of things about family and roots and culture in there. There's a piece in my own indigenous language which I hadn't written before. You and I were just talking about your own language as well, your own dialect.
Yes.
And it's some of those are easy to lose when you don't practice. So for me, it was important to kind of hone in and do something in my father's language, which directly expressed an experience that our family had during World War II. And then there's a piece that my grandfather wrote, which we were talking about earlier, which I found amongst his things. It was typed on a typewriter. I can't tell if it's like a syllable test or some kind of test or some kind of avant-garde thing he was doing. But I decided if I could find a way to recite it, it could be cool.
Okay. And you're a recording artist, you compose music too. And do you think poetry and music are an extension of each other? Because I was listening to an interview by an Indian lyricist, and he said poetry should always have a rhythm and and a beat. He said, otherwise it'll be prose.
Good.
Yeah, what do you have to think about that?
I really like that.
Okay.
Please send me the interview with that person because, I think...
It's in Hindi, but yeah, okay.
I really like that because there is a difference. There's a difference in its function. There's a difference in its form. And for me, it's really natural to put them together. It's the most natural thing for me to put them together and to have a poem be kind of, be accompanied by music or just sound sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like just if there's, I really like sound design behind poetry as much as I like music itself.
Okay. And now coming to your album, I enjoyed listening to each one. It's very personal. I mean, I connected with everything. The music too. It's so different for me, to tell you the truth. It's a different world for me, and it's so lovely, I have to say. I really connected with samsara.
Yes.
Samsara is a Sanskrit word, actually. Also Buddhists use it about the flow and the cycle of death, birth and rebirth. And there were some words which I wrote down which instantly caught my attention. Was that something talking about the Shiva at the foot of the stairs. No room for the devils nor angels or grace, just me and my body in search of a space.
Yes.
Wow. How did you fall upon these words? Amazing.
Well, it's funny. I mean, it's true. The very first line is, I was knee-deep in Nietzsche, nihilist style. And there was a period in my life where I was knee-deep in Nietzsche. And I was not allowing, I wasn't literally shattering any Shivas, but I was not allowing that to enter my psyche anymore. And I broke out of that. And that's what that piece is about realizing, when I was in that space, I thought it was smart. I thought it was, okay, I've found it. Like, this is it. And then, but I realized I was negating this whole other side of the spiritual side of myself. And when I got to it, I started writing it. And a lot of it was inspired by Leonard Cohen, the songwriter. There's a piece of his that, because the way he navigates his spirituality, which was informed by a lot of different traditions, is really stark. It's really confrontational. It's unafraid of naming the things he's kind of going through. And so I was inspired by that. And then I had my good friend and partner, David Boyce, who's a jazz saxophonist. He's the accompanist on it. And I said, hey, I'm just going to read this piece and you listen and respond musically. And I thought he did great. It's turning out to be a favorite of a lot of people. And I think I was telling you earlier, I thought it was sort of a challenging listen. It's so deeply personal.
Yes.
But I'm finding it's like people are like, no, I like that one.
Okay. So there's a lot to like in the album. So PC, tell us where they can find it. It's releasing everywhere, you said, on the 15th of May. So
Currently it's on my Bandcamp page, which is pcmunoz.bandcamp.com.
Okay.
And then on May 15th, it hits all of the streaming services. So whether you use Spotify or Tidal or Apple Music, everywhere, you'll be able to stream it and add it to your playlist there.
Okay, so just type in Little Ransoms, PC Munoz.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and now let's hear something. Looking forward to anything, whatever you wish to.
I have a few of the pieces from the album here.
Perfect.
And I'll...
Loved the Deceased also. It's very powerful.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, The Deceased in Question.
In Question,
Yeah.
yes.
In fact, I think I'll start with that one.
Okay.
Let's see. So The Deceased in Question is a piece that I wrote after spending some time in Vancouver. And while I was in Vancouver, the Pope was next door in Calgary apologizing for. Have you heard about the residential school system there?
Yes, I read about that.
Yeah, it's an atrocious stuff that went down in the name of trying to keep young First Nations kids, trying to literally, they said they wanted to beat the Indian out of them, to sort of align them with more European values. And some of those kids literally they died, they can't find their bodies, and so much suffering. And I thought the Pope was sincere when he was there, apologizing for the Catholic Church's part in it. And while I was there, I just started thinking about all of the indigenous children who've been kind of forced to align or have had identity stripped in order to align with whoever happens to be in charge at the time. And that's why I wrote this one. Okay. It imagines a world where those children are still alive. The deceased in question now run freely, shout joyfully, play happily, and whisper comforting words in their language. In your care, they didn't stand a chance. Systematically erased, intentionally forgotten, thrown in the dirt, off the books. In your care, they didn't stand a chance. Murdered on multiple levels, humanity stripped, dignity disemboweled, pride stolen, identity kidnapped, on the books. The deceased in question have no fond memories of you. They know you're a liar and a hypocrite. They don't believe in your creed, the one that sanctioned their deaths, the one that helped crush their skulls and spirits. In your care, they didn't stand a chance. The deceased in question now are not fearful. They are brave and smart and strong and capable of self-determination. In this realm that ever shall be, but currently unobserved, the deceased in question thrive. In your care, they didn't stand a chance. Without you in the picture, the deceased in question live. That's probably the heaviest one.
Heaviest, yes.
And it's one that's you might notice no sound. It's just my voice.
Just it's very, very powerful. It hits you. And I did read your post about the story which you just told. So and it was a big. It made it into the news. About recently. So yes. And what's the next one?
Let's see. I will read this one parallel.
Okay.
because it is a funny one.
Okay.
And it's one that's also turning out to be a favorite that to me is, it's funny, and fun that people like it. It's another sort of a lot of these things are sort of moving into a quantum realm where you're imagining other things. So this one is imagining that instead of Star Wars, The Love Boat had become the major pop culture hit of 1977. And I read this earlier before in one of your other shows, but I'm excited to share it again. Researchers have discovered that in a parallel universe currently being lived out just 2 dimensions away from us, everything is the same as ours. You are you and I am me. A star is a star and a tree is a tree, except for a blip in 1977. In the parallel 1977, it was not Star Wars that launched a cultural phenomenon, but another popular American-made visual product, The Love Boat. In this parallel universe, Captain Stubing is the most popular Halloween costume of all time. There is a Love Boat doctoral program offered at Yale. Month-long conferences are held all over the world to discuss plot lines, the unexpected import of Carol Channing's guest spots, the implied semiotics of Purser Gopher's white gloves. Anyone can walk into any bar in the world and order the Isaac and receive a cocktail personally designed by Ted Lang, the Oakland-born actor who played the Love Boat's affable bartender. The most popular Lego set in most parts of the world is a 60,000-piece replica of the titular cruise ship. As for Star Wars, it's considered an underground cinematic gem, created by a peculiar Californian upstart. There are occasional midnight showings in Fresno, attended by dozens of hardcore fans who lament the fact that the masses never really understood Star Wars. They regularly petition George Lucas, now a retired lumber salesman in Modesto, for a sequel. That movie doesn't even exist, George Lucas reportedly said in 1989.
Okay. This was wonderful, PC. And once again, listeners, just go to any online platform.
Yes, go
Once again.
this week. You can go to if you want to download it, you can go to pcmunoz.bandcamp.com and download the album. It's only $5, and if you prefer to stream, on Friday it will hit Spotify and Tidal and all those other ones. And if you'd like to hear some of it live, on June 5th at Medicine for Nightmares in San Francisco, we're having a release event.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you once again for joining, and keep writing. Looking forward to the next spoken word album before the 20 years.
I can't do another 21. I can't do it. But thank you for your support of the work and the close listen. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.